I'm here in Pokhara, Nepal with Mario Hughes, who is a nurse from the UK who lives in Pokhara and works at Kaski Sewa Medical Center, which is the sponsor of the Pokhara session for CCNEPal. And I thought he had a lot of valuable insight into why other nurses from UK should come join us here.
I feel very grateful that I was given the opportunity by Kaski Sewa Hospital to come here. I can't explain how fulfilling it is to come here, not just because of the work that we're doing in the hospital, but because of the country and the people. It's just an opportunity that I wouldn't have been without for the world.
So how did you get here the first time?
Through a friend of our director at the hospital, who was working with me in the cardiothoracic ICU, I told him I was interested in coming out here after I'd done a medical camp with another cardiothoracic surgeon. He put me in touch with Padam, and Padam emailed me, and he was very persuasive. So I came out to Pokhara 2 years ago to a hospital really that was really a shell at the time. They hadn't put any equipment into it, and it took about 3 or 4 months to get everything together, and we received our first patients in the ICU in July, so that's almost 2 years ago.
And so how often, I mean, what is your typical schedule like? Do you spend a lot of time there? You live nearby,
Yeah,
I guess.
That's a problem, because the Nepali working week, our doctors work 7 days a week, and I remember I took Saturday off at the early days every week, and when I went there on a Saturday once, all the doctors were there, and I said to them, "What are you doing here?" And they said, "What do you mean, what are we doing here? It's only you that takes Saturday off, Mario." But since then, I've got a flexible working week, but I usually go to the hospital most days.
So now you've been involved in training Nepali nurses to be ICU nurses, and I've met a lot of your crew. I think you have a great crew. Tell us what your secret is, or tell us about the approach here.
Yeah, we haven't got a secret, and I came across with a lot of training programs from the UK, specific critical care nurse training programs, and when I started off, I quickly realised that I was really moving in the wrong direction, and we really needed to get back to basics, and we had to tackle the issues of basic nursing care first before we could move on. And I think having this ACLS course now has probably come at the right time, because we are starting to progress now, and the aspects of critical care nursing that people think about, like ventilatory support, resuscitation, inotropic support, it's now that we need to start moving on to those areas. And you've got to remember, in many ways, I'm by myself doing this. If we'd had a team of people, it would have been so much easier. You can't work 24 hours a day. You can't be there all the time. So there's times you've got to just leave people to their own devices in situations that they probably don't understand the significance of the situations they're in, and then you go in the next day and you've got to put a lot right sometimes. But I've got to admire the Nepali nurses, because most of them have 2 jobs and get paid very little for it. The average salary is probably around 10,000 for a nurse, which is about £75, and because of that they have 2 jobs, so they work with us for 6 hours from 8 till 2, and then they go straight to another hospital to work. So, and that is not like the UK, when people do 12-hour shifts, they get 4 days off. These girls are doing that almost 7 days a week, so they're tired, and it's difficult for them. So we've got that problem as well. So there's times when you can't muster that enthusiasm to learn and to look after the patients when they're exhausted.
Yep. Great. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just that I've been very lucky. I've met some fantastic people, And like I said, I wouldn't change anything. I might change some of the ways I've gone about working in the hospital sometimes. You know, sometimes my expectations of what you want people to do have been too high, and I haven't understood the cultural aspects of Nepal. And you know, things don't happen very fast here. And you know, for instance, if we want to order something, I expect it to be there the next day. If we want some lab results, I think it's going to be there in an hour, and it takes all day. And so, you know, it gets frustrating, and sometimes you react in a frustrated way. And that's probably one thing I would change about the way I've behaved.
Okay, great.
But it hasn't upset too many people.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much, Mario. And I'm going to post this on YouTube. I guess the last thing to say is you did a lot of work to get people from all these different hospitals to come here. And first off, so Kaski Sewa is actually supporting capacity building for the entire Pokhara Valley, which I appreciate. And I particularly appreciate how you went around to the other hospitals and got some of these people informed and all that kind of stuff. Now, you said you did it on your bike. Is that a motorcycle or a bicycle?
This is a cycle. This is a cycle.
So it's got petrol in it.
No.
So
The only petrol is
you
my
were
legs.
cranking your legs.
Yeah,
okay. So at least you got an excuse to go bike riding.
But it's nice to get around the hospitals as well. I've been to most of them before. Some of them I hadn't been to. But it's nice to see what facilities they've got. Go in the emergency department and see what they've got. You know, if they get patients in, what emergency equipment they've got, and just it gives you an idea of the facilities, and also it gives you an idea of where we are in the pecking order as far as giving care is concerned.
All right, great. Well, thank you.